Join us at Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women. During the month of June, I'm going to have to carry over my shows until the next week. I will be discussing four topics. You must commit to your self esteem. You are your cheerleader. Encourage is the strength to succeed. And the last show for June will call That Day Is Now. Since these shows are long, I'm going to have to carry them over to the next week. So you will have to follow along and make certain that you hear each show for continuity. Remember, you can listen to our archive on YouTube at Touched by the Light Publishing. That's the name of the channel. Also, I will be talking about Dr. Latina Denson of Southfield. I think you should get to know her and learn something about her career. She is running for the City Council of Southfield. She is a dynamic woman that I recently met, and I have definitely said she is truly a woman of courage. Now to our show. For the next 4 or 5 weeks, we're going to discuss the books Women of Courage, You Are the Prophet of Your Life, and What You Must Do to Win. The reasons why we are going to give so much attention to these books is because the books were written to raise your self esteem and to give you confidence that you can do whatever it is that you want to do in your life. Actually, life is straightforward. Every day, a person must put his best foot forward to live and improve his life. That means leaving behind friends that take from your life. You do not need to sit around every day talking about the last football game that you played, wasting your day away. You need to be planning and instituting things that will improve your life. People who sit around talking all the time are afraid to live their lives. So that means saving money each month to ensure your children have a future. That means not bringing unrelated males into your home who can harm your children. At any given moment, if you ask me, I can give you the names of children who were raped and murdered by their mothers' live-in boyfriends. Men are not babysitters, so do not leave your children with any men. I know there's men out there listening to me and you're mad. Well, you just have to take it because there are too many men killing these children for any sane woman to leave her children with any man, and I mean including his father. We just had two black males indicted for beating their children to death because it was difficult for them to learn to read. Men are not babysitters. They were built to work, and that's what they need to do. You may want to argue this point. Go right ahead, because I can drown you out with the names of children murdered by men when these children were left in their custody. What these men did to these children is an abomination. Oh, yes, and most of the mothers were charged. If you have to have sex, do it outdoors in the alley and leave that man in the alley and go home and take care of your children. A child does not need their mother making a decision that will imperil their life. It is an accepted fact that women with low self-esteem are flattered by any man's attention, and these women will pull up their skirt at any moment. They'll screw anything with a name. Also an accepted fact that women with lower self-esteem will put up with the most atrocious behavior from these men. Like I said earlier, if you're sexually attracted to these men, screw them in the alley and leave those men in the alley. If a man does not have a clear goal and is working toward that goal, leave him in the alley. If a man's mother will not have anything to do with him, leave him in the alley. If a man has 4 or 5 babies by 4 or 5 women who call him my baby's daddy, leave him in the alley. These men do not have any self control and they do not know how to manage their lives. They are confused and lost. You're going to meet a lot of men in your life that will say, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna go back to school. I'm gonna get me a better job. The phrase I'm a gonna is the first sign that his life will not amount to anything. People who say I'm a gonna forever use this phrase. There is no I'm a gonna. Either you are in the process of doing it or you're not in the process of doing it. It's that simple. You are either in the process of going back to school or you're either in the process of getting the job. It means that you have walked the streets and put in application after application after application after application. That phrase, I'm a gonna, is for fools. Take the phrase, I'm a gonna go back to school. Well, what has he done toward meeting this objective? Has he registered for school? Did he pay his tuition? Has he gotten a tutor for his math class? Has he found out his schedule and arranged for part-time work? Does he know where he's going to live during this time he's going back to school? Does he know how long it's going to take him to get back and forth to school on the bus? Does he have a bus schedule? All these are activities associated with the phrase, I'm a gunner. I knew a woman once who told me to my face that it was too hot outside to go and vote. Then in the wintertime, she told me it was too cold to go outside and vote. What she was saying was voting was not important to her. In the case of the man telling you, I'm a gunner, he is saying he does not know how to put his plan of going back to school into action. And he is also telling you he does not know how to find someone to tell him how to do it. He's telling you he does not believe in going to a librarian and asking her to tell him where to find information to do what it is that he wants to do. You are talking to a man that is a fool who tells you to help him start his business. In fact, he thinks you are just as stupid as he is. What insurance do you have after he starts his business that he will not dump you? Your name is not on the business, nor do you have a life insurance on his life. He hasn't married you, so you're not entitled to Social Security. Now, to the man who tells you he is going into business, you want to leave him behind. Listen to me. You want to leave him behind because that man is deadly. What he is actually saying to you is, I want to put you to work to help me raise the money I need to go into business. He will want you to pose nude on Facebook to advertise your wares. He wants to sell sex while he sells himself. After you show your wares on Facebook, then he will want to arrange for you to start selling sex to men so he can take the money to start his business. Of course, he's going to tell you that if you love him, you should be willing to help him get up the money for his business. He's an absolute fool. In your mind, you tell him to go to hell. And as soon as he turns his back, you move out that house and don't let nobody know where you've gone. Now, I want you to get this through your head, that male predators are looking for women just like you so they can exploit you and your children. They will want your children to go and buy them dope from the dope house. They'll want to eat all the chicken and leave your children with the chicken backs. They'll want to use your food stamps so you can so they can sell the food stamps and go get some beer and marijuana. Your children to eat peanut butter for the rest of the month. When you listen and do what these ignorant men tell you, you are teaching your children to be stupid just like you. And finally, your son is going to end up in prison because you were stupid, and your daughter will be a prostitute because you were stupid. It is time for you to change. This is why you need to read these books. And if you cannot read, then you need to learn how to read so you can read some books that will help you change your life. Do not believe and stop being stupid, making yourself feel important because you're trying to help your boyfriend start his business. If he's a man, he will not need your help. Did you hear what I said? I said if he's a man, damn it, he will not need your help to start his business. he'll do it on his own. I have known enough men in my life to prove this statement, starting with my father and my oldest brother. My father worked at an ice house for 14 hours a day and walked home from the Eastern Market to Grand River and 15th Street to save car fare just so we could eat. My father had a garden in the summertime to grow vegetables so my mother could can them so we could eat in the wintertime. My oldest brother did several tours of duty in Vietnam just to earn combat pay to keep his family. So do not tell me what a black man won't do uh, to take care of his family. One thing a black man will not do is tell his woman to sell her body. So do not tell me that a black man will ask his woman to sell her body so he can start his business, because that's a bunch of crap. I know what a black man will do for his family, and what he will not do is tell his woman to sell her body for him. My father would wash our socks in cold water, then sit up at night sitting by the oven waiting for our socks to dry. Please do not tell me what a man will do for his family or to make money. But one thing a man will not do is eat before his children eat and take the best pieces of chicken and buy himself shoes when his child does not have shoes. Men do not do this. Ever that piece of human waste that you have, you need to get rid of it and never bring anything like that into your house again. If the man is living in your house, he does not need to babysit. He needs to go get him a job and pay a babysitter. He does not need to sit at home with the child playing video games. I know a man who washed dishes for 16 hours a day, 6 days a week to take care of his family. He couldn't read. He knew that he had to work to take care of his family, and that's what he did. He couldn't get a driver's license because he could not read. And his girlfriend would bring him to work and pick him up in the evening, and he was paying for the car. I knew another man who could not read. He too could not get a driver's license. But you know what he did? He walked the streets, memorizing street signs until finally he started borrowing his friend's cab and started picking up fares all over the city. He did this for years. He also hustled money down the Eastern Market, bringing people back and forth in their groceries. He also hustled money at the supermarkets. The reason why I know these men couldn't read is because I taught them to read. I made myself a promise years ago to eliminate black illiteracy. And if you care about people, then you should try to help somebody learn to read. Please do not tell me what a man will not do when he loves his wife and children. My father walked home from work just so he could give us money for lunch. We were never embarrassed in the lunchroom. If you meet a trifling man, leave him where he stands. You have no right to comfort this man with sex after all the suffering that black men have endured in this country to protect their families. This man is not willing to put forth an effort and take a job, any job, to take care of his family. You leave that piece of trash alone. Remember I said that any time a man's mother will not help him, you're to leave that man alone? Why? Because black women will go through hell for their children. I know a ton of black women who have worked 2 jobs for years to take care of their children. So anytime you see a man and his mother has turned her back on him, that man bears watching. And I mean watching. If you sleep next to this man, you better sleep with one eye open, or he'll be down the hallway visiting your daughter in her bed. So far, we have spent 8 months talking about sex trafficking and self esteem. During our discussion, I said one big problem people have with self esteem is the ability to think clearly and distinctly. Now I'm going to suggest 6 books I know that will help you develop your ability to think clearly. The books are You Are the Prophet of Your Life and What You Must Do to Win and Be Not Defeated in Hard Times. These books are going to suggest that you toughen yourself up against criticism, that you leave negative talking and negative acting friends behind. The first book we're going to discuss is You Are the Prophet of Your Life. The title suggests that your life is in your hands. You are the one that dictates how your life will be ran. Not your grandmother, not your mother, not your father, but you. You prophesize your life. Now, the book is going to go into very sensitive areas, but that is necessary in order for you to take control of your life. The book tells you that the most dangerous thing that you can do to yourself is to constantly speak negatively to yourself, because the repetition of speaking negatively teaches you that what you are saying is true, which in fact what you're saying is false. But if you keep repeating negative thoughts to yourself, that is what you will become to believe and act upon. You must understand the logic of this. Okay? Repetition teaches you that something is true. Okay? You study your timetables. You say 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. You keep repeating this. Finally, you believe it. And then the next time somebody asks you what is 6 times 4, you will say 24. Now, if you keep telling yourself that you're stupid, sooner or later, when somebody asks you about yourself, you'll say, I'm stupid, because you repeated these lines to yourself over and over again until you learned that what you were saying that was false, you've made true. This is why it is so dangerous for you to keep saying negative things to yourself, because finally you're going to believe it. The book says whatever you put in the grounds of your heart will grow. If you put doubt and disbelief in your heart, that is what you will harvest. You can have what you say, but what you say must be consistent with facts. You must consistently speak faith and wellness, not doubt and disbelief. You must consistently speak faith and wellness. If you continuously speak the problem, that is all that you will harvest, the problem. Whatever you consistently say, you will believe. If you are constantly telling yourself you are no good, you cannot learn, no one will want you, then that will be the result of your life. You keep talking yourself into trouble. What you need to do is purchase a concordance. Find the scriptures that fit your need, say the scriptures to yourself, receive the scriptures, and rehearse the scriptures to firmly root God's word into your heart. Soon the word will come forth from your heart, out of your mouth, as a creative force. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You need to change your heart so that what you speak is in line with God and also in line with the truth, because you're not stupid. Go to the word and speak the word. The world will send you down a hill. The world will depress you and make you believe that your situation is hopeless. To fight all of the depressing things you are told every day, plant the word in your heart and prophesize health and wealth to yourself. Soon what you say will become what you believe, and you will see the results of that belief in your life. I can go back to school. You can prophesize this. I can win. I can learn how to sell insurance. I can learn how to sell a car. I can learn to be a biologist. I can learn to do anything that I choose to do. Must understand is when you speak to yourself, you are prophesizing to yourself. You are dictating your future actions. The dictionary defines a prophet as a person regarded as an inspired teacher, one who proclaims the will of God. Now, as a person, have you asked yourself what inspires you? What does your inspiration comes from, and what do you proclaim over your life? I'm stupid. Nobody will like me. I'm silly. Nobody will take me serious. I can't work a good job because nobody will hire me. Keep saying these things to yourself, you're going to make them come true. Are they going to come true? Because you're going to act that way. You're going to act like a loser. Now, there are lots of misconceptions about what destiny is, but you need to know that you're the one who decides what your destiny will be. If a man, for instance, goes out with a table knife and stabs another man deliberately, he has proclaimed prison as his final destination. That's simple. Our destiny evolves every day because of the choices that we make. And that is why, as the prophet of your life, you determine your destiny. You can determine and you can select information from God's Word. You can teach yourself godly values, proclaim good things over your life, and work toward achieving these desires. You are where you are today because of the choices you made yesterday. And if you want your situation to change, you must start making decisions today based on where you want to be or what you want to achieve in the future. Do not want to achieve being a stupid person in the future, then stop calling yourself stupid presently. Also, that life is not fair to anyone. It doesn't give you what you deserve or what you will desire unless you shape your life. So it is important to work toward your desires every time, irrespective of the situation around you. A prophet is not influenced by the prevalent situation of his environment. Rather, he makes divine proclamations based on what will be. So, we know that a prophet is a person that forecasts the future. He or she is the person that tells you what is going to happen in your life. So you take command of your life and tell yourself what is going to happen. At this moment, the choice is yours. Do you accept their forecasting your future, or do you take the situation in your hand and forecast your future? Are you going to accept your grandmama telling you you're going to end up just like your father in prison? Or are you going to tell yourself who you are going to become? It's correct. Do you let your hateful grandmother determine your future by saying you're going to be just like your father, an inmate in prison? Or are you going to show her by example that you're going to be the man you want to be? Are you going to show her by example that she has no control over your life? Sometimes the predictions your relatives or your friends make over your life are very painful. Keep your own counsel. Forge ahead with your own ideas of your life. Remember, there is always someone available to tell you what you can't do. Now you have seen how negativity can ruin a beautiful life. David was being bombarded every day with situations as a police officer that he had no control over. These situations were driving him to drink. He could not manage the job. The job was taking him downhill where he was in a position of losing everything. He had to make a decision. Do I go downhill or do I try to save myself? David's life was almost destroyed by working as a police officer and drinking. David decided to bite the bullet. He decided to turn his life around by quitting the police force, a job he loved, and to stop drinking. He wanted to live a life with his wife. He did not want to lose her. He began to try to live positively. You can solve a number of personal problems that can stand in your way of being happy and living a successful life. Think of your life as a new building for which you are the architect. You can decide how many bathrooms or bedrooms you put in this building. Think of your life as a vehicle for which you are the driver. You can decide where to stop or when to accelerate. Think of your life as a ship on a stormy sea, for which you are the captain. You have to sail to safety, otherwise, the ship will capsize, which means you have to harden your thinking. Only you can determine your course. Only you can decide what direction you want to go. Every day, life throws different challenges at us. How we choose to handle these challenges can make all the difference in our lives. You can decide what will happen in your life. You are the prophet of your life. The sentence, you are the prophet of your life, is extremely important to someone who lacks self esteem and to women. Women all over the world are made to believe it's a man's world. In other words, a lot of social and societal systems and structures favor men than women. As a result, most women choose to live as second class citizens. A lot of women are stuck with situations they could easily change, but because of the belief system imposed on them by society, they have resigned to the fate and chosen to live and suffer in silence. You do not have to live this way. You can make a decision to change your life. I want you to listen to me and accept what I'm saying. Your life is yours and should not be subjugated to the opinion of others. Their opinion is just what it is, an opinion. And the good news is you are not bound by their opinion. Because your life is yours, you are responsible for all your successes and defeats. If you believe it's time to liberate yourself and to reach for your great destiny, then you need to get a copy of You Are the Prophet of Your Life. This book takes no prisoners. It tells you the nitty gritty. The book will not only help you become what you've always wanted to be, it will show you how to overcome your limitations and for you to reach your target. It will also help you with your self-analysis so that you can be able to identify what needs to be changed in your life so you can live the way you want to live. The book, You Are the Prophet of Your Life, tells you that you can be the person you want to be. The book tells you you will have to make hard choices, but you ultimately can be the person navigating your ship. Here is an example of what I'm saying. It comes from a movie. Listen carefully. This will help you visualize what I'm saying. The man being discussed has to make a hard choice if he is to win. Notice, the man realizes that his future is at hand. He is the one that is in control. He realizes it is his decision that will lead him to his destiny, not anyone else. What this man is saying is extremely important. So if you miss part of this episode or it's not clear, go to our YouTube channel and listen to this show again. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you.
At what point did you think this was going to be easy? At what point did you think this was going to be handed to you? This is life. Every moment, every second, as precious as the next. I don't care if you've lost. I don't care if you failed. I don't care if you've hit bottom. As long as that hunger still lies inside, as long as that light still flickers, you fight. We fight for the people that believe in us. We fight for the moments, we fight for the seconds. We fight for the pride. We fight for the dreams. We fight. We always fight. to push boundaries. You were designed to go beyond the breaking point. But somewhere down the line, you got comfortable. You decided settling was the best option. There are no comfort zones on the path to success. There is no wait once you see an opportunity. In this life, we don't walk around our fears. We grit our teeth, we run over those fears. So show me where you come from. Where risk is taken and the pride is won. We don't stop in this life. We don't quit in this life. We push until the day we die. I can tell you, this will be the hardest thing you have ever experienced. That moment when you decide to risk everything to follow your dreams. But when you realize it is possible, that this is no longer a dream, this is a reality, you will change. The hustle will be born. But you need to believe in the process. Countless hours, sleepless nights, leaving nothing on the table, because we can't let this one fail. We won't let this one fail. We grind because we have to now. We push because we have to now. There is no wait for this dream. Every move is calculated, every decision is planned and executed. You've got one shot to make this count. No room for regrets in this life. We dream big, we push big, we grind big, we live big. So tell me, are you dreaming or are you pushing?
Twice a month on Saturday, I meet with my listeners for a discussion about issues affecting women. Join us. For dates, times, and directions, you can reach us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Stop thinking there's nothing you can do to change the world. Your life is important. For more information on our books or subjects discussed, email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com.
This right here, this is the moment right before the day starts when you get to look in the mirror and tell yourself who you are. Now, you've been through some dark days. I believe that. But all that pain and struggle, that made the person you're looking at now. So when you walk out of these doors today, I need you to believe in yourself. I need you to believe you are the strongest person walking this planet. They don't know what you've been through. They don't know the grind it took for you to be here. So when you leave here today, I need you to show them.
In 1999, Alex Baldwin starred in the movie Heaven's Prisoner. The movie begins with the sound of a somber, pensive music. Alex Baldwin is presented in a cold, austere environment, speaking against a black backdrop. The moviegoers do not know where Alex Baldwin is or to whom he's talking to. The visual absence of anyone else in the scene forces the moviegoers to focus on what Alex Baldwin is saying. The character begins to speak, and what he says immediately catches your attention. After the first few lines, you know the man on the screen is in for a fight, and you immediately begin rooting for him. The character says, I want to drink. I want to drink all the time. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, my eyes pop open, and I think, I gotta have a drink. A beer, a Bloody Mary, whatever. Even now, I don't know why, I haven't had a drink in 3 years. Now a person answers Alex Baldwin. 3 years, huh? The moviegoers still do not know where Alex Baldwin's character is or to whom he's speaking. Yeah, sometimes I'll be talking with my wife, and the whole time we're talking, I'd be thinking about this bar I used to go to. The whole conversation, I'm thinking I'd rather be in the bar than anywhere else. Glasses all lined up, my seat down on the corner, all those colored bottles, the ice in the glass, that burn. Man, that felt real good going down. That will never happen again. I can't drink. I know that. Drinking fucked up my whole life. Excuse me, Father, I'm sorry. The priest says, that is all right, David. How is your wife? David says, you mean Annie? Priest says, you love your wife, don't you? You have a good life since you left the police force. David says, yes, I do. The priest says, and if you begin drinking again, what will happen? David says, I will lose everything. The priest says, but knowing this, knowing that you will lose everything, you would lose your wife, your business, and your self-respect. Still you want to drink? David says, yes, I do. The priest says, you are absolved of your sins. Go in peace. In listening to this speech, the moviegoers learned that the character was in a confessional and that the character is fighting, trying to salvage his life against his love of drinking and the loss of a job he loved. He loved being a policeman. The character has a passionate love of drink. Any person who has spent time in a bar drinking smooth whiskey can identify with the character's love of the atmosphere of a bar. The viewers do not feel that David's privacy has been intruded upon by their listening to him talk to the priest, because the character, David, speaks unashamedly of his internal conflict. Immediately the question comes to mind, can this man stay the course? Can David pursue a new profession, avoid alcohol, and maintain a relationship with his wife? His choices are degradation or self-respect. At this moment, God has been introduced into the equation. Faith becomes a determining factor. Now we know that this character can win the battle. God will give this man the strength to fight the battle. The character does not have to sit with a friend on the park bench discussing his torment. The character went to God with his dilemma. The character's knowledge of God's power makes David go to church to find the solution to his torment. At the end of the scene, one sees Alec Baldwin's character leaving the church with a determined walk with his back erect. The character does not leave the church simpering or whining, telling himself, I just don't know what will happen. The character's faith is in his action. He went to church, he got his daily dose of faith. Now he will face the day. The audience has accepted this character as the good guy because he is fighting the fight of good and evil, and the character is fighting unbowed. It has gained the support of the audience. David becomes an example for all men. The audience wants David to win. Drink and be damned, or do not drink and live a life of love with your wife and God as God ordained. Genesis 2:18. Then the Lord God said, it is not good for man to live alone. Because of God's presence, the audience is no longer concerned with David's character past. They're only concerned with his future. What is he going to do? As soon as David leaves the confessional, his adversary steps in. As the movie continues, David now has to exercise his faith and his belief in himself and stand fast in the fact of the terror, odds, and consequences. The book You Are the Prophet of Your Life discusses people in David's situation, and the book discusses people who bring havoc into your life. These are your adversaries. They may be friends or family members. Remember, people will show up in your life with their opinions once you attempt to make a change in your life. Remember that these people are dangerous. They will kill you to make their fears your fears and to make their worries your worries. They come into your life to destroy it. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break. I met Dr. Latina Denson coming out of the building in Southfield. Something just told me to walk up to her and say hello. Actually, as I walked past her car as she was getting out of her car, a voice told me to ask her had she had a stroke. I ignored the voice and got inside my car. I said to myself, no, I don't want to embarrass myself before this woman. I am a perfect stranger. How can I walk up to this woman and ask her, did she have a stroke? I started my car. The voice persisted until I got back out of the car and walked up to Dr. Denson and asked her, had she had a stroke? She said yes, and we began to talk. I introduced myself to her. I was overwhelmed with her story because I knew immediately that she was a woman of courage and that I wanted to interview her. Dr. Denson had all the characteristics of a woman of courage. She was focused. She did not second guess herself. She did not spend time imagining what people thought of her. She believed in herself. She was not afraid of rejection, and she embraced life. Once I assessed her strength, I knew Dr. Denson had been sent to me. I told Dr. Denson that she had been sent to me. I told her of my mission. She and I laughed. Shortly before I met Dr. Denson, I had told a friend that I was going to hammer away at self esteem and self image on my radio program until I got people to see how important it is to build their child's life around positivity and self determination. I laughed. God has sent me a prototype. God has sent me a genuine fighter and I could hold up to the world and say, see, this is what I'm talking about. I had just finished my research on Muhammad Ali, Colin Kaepernick, and Usain Bolt. I plan to discuss these three men on my show. These three men were willful and they were willing to step out for what they believed, which is similar to Dr. Denson. I think people need to know that obstacles in our path and situations in our lives can be overcome. If she can do it, you can do it. We need to hear stories about people overcoming tragedies in their lives. When Dr. Latina Denson told me she was running for city council of Southfield, I was elated. She was more than I could ask for. She had not given up. She was persisting. She believed in herself. Her life said, "There's nothing I can't do." Dr. Denson was making her life count. When Dr. Denson told me she was running for city council for Southfield, I told her that that was why the voice told me to ask her about her stroke, because she was a woman of courage. I told her that I would help her with her candidacy because I believe that is why God had me speak to her. She he was telling me to support her. She chatted quite a while, even though she was there for a meeting. I left telling myself that that woman likes to smile. Later that evening, I went on Yahoo and researched Dr. Denson. I learned she is committed to serving her community. She is a planning commissioner on senior adults. She is also an ambassador to the Heart and Stroke Association. She is a volunteer for the World Medical Relief Fund. World Medical Relief provides medical equipment and prescriptions to those in need both locally and abroad. They've done this since 1953. World Medical Relief is a nonprofit organization and they only do charitable work. By distributing medical supplies, they help the poor, the sick, and the elderly locally, nationally, and on an international basis. The organization helps the medically unserved both at home and abroad by collecting and distributing medicine, medical supplies, and related materials. I learned that Dr. Latina Denson was had over 20 years of planning and community development experience, particularly in the area of housing and neighborhood development. Dr. Denson obtained her doctorate of philosophy in urban affairs and public policy from the University of Delaware. She is a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners. She is committed to improving the neighborhood as housing and a planning professional. She is currently the president of Strategic Development Solutions, a consulting firm specializing in urban and regional statistic planning. She is the founder of Knowledge, a group aimed to reduce the incidence of stroke by increasing education and prevention efforts as well as promoting the successful rehabilitation lifestyle of stroke survivors. Dr. Denson had lots of well wishes on her Facebook page, telling her that they welcomed her candidacy and she would be a good addition to the Southfield City Council. Adam Seltzer said, "I'm excited to support your candidacy." George Calway said, "Latina, thanks for sharing your story. You are such a beautiful and incredible young lady. May God continue to shower you with his blessings." Another woman said, "Proud of you for sharing your story. Love and blessings always." Sherry Oliver said, "Thank you for sharing your story." Carolyn Jackson said, "You are a warrior, such an amazing shower of strength. God bless you." David Howard said, "You have always been a leader and an incredible person. Great work." Meg Jacobs said, "Great job." And Harry said, "So strong, so compelling, asking for nothing, giving much." Another woman said, "This is Latina Denson, my friend from when my kids were babies. I met Latina through a wonderful mutual friend, Melanie McCullough. Latina was a very fit, healthy, active, energetic person at age 38 when she suffered a stroke. Please listen to her story and learn from it. I'm so proud of Latina. So glad to hear your story told and by you. Keep pushing through it all." From the commits on Dr. Denson's page, you can tell she touched lots of lives. Anyway, I would like for you to hear from Dr. Denson in her own words discussing her experience in a video after having a stroke in 2009. She believes it is important that people share their stories. Currently, she, along with the Southfield Multimedia Cable 15, hosts a show called Unlimited Share Your Story. They highlight mental, physical, and health challenges. To share your story, email Dr. Denson at unlimitedstoriessouthfield at gmail.com.
I woke up with a strange headache. And I really don't have headaches, but if I have headaches, it was just a regular headache. But it was something about that headache. I'm like, I'm still, something's wrong, but maybe I'll just take some aspirin and. So I did, and I wanted to go just to sleep. I tried to get up, but I couldn't. My mother came and she said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I cannot move my arm." We went to the hospital. They wheeled me to a room, and I don't remember anything else. I had to have brain surgery. So the doctor, he said that I had a bus, not a clot, but a bus. And he had to induce a coma. As a result of my stroke, I could not walk, I could not talk, I couldn't even recognize words. Now I can walk with a cane. I have aphasia and apraxia. Both are speech impairments. I could not recognize words. Now I can, and stuff like that. Apraxia is based on my muscles in my mouth. And so sometimes I cannot, I am challenged to speak, but I'm trying. And then I have limited use of my arm. In terms of life after stroke, I was hopeful as in terms of, I was like, okay, it's a temporary thing in terms of my mobility. But, I am a go-getter. So I'm like, okay. It was a sunny day, and I was like, God, let me call somebody so that I can get out of the house. I called everybody, and nobody was home. I was like, now, come on. So that's why I was like, I have to go. I have to get out of the house, And that was the moment that I was like, okay, I have to do what I have to do, because nobody else is gonna do it. Even though I have a wonderful family and a wonderful support system of friends, they were not available. My name is Latina Denson. I had a stroke. I shared my story. Why don't you share yours?
Help us save a life. Stop breast cancer from taking lives. Will you assist us in putting the booklet Black Women and Breast Cancer in the Hands of a Million People? Please go to the website www.touchedbythelight.us and download the booklet Black Women and Breast Cancer. Then email this booklet to 5 friends, asking them to email the booklet to 5 of their friends. We are trying to reach 1 million women with this information to save lives. The death of one woman to breast cancer from our community is one woman too many. We thank you for your support. Thank you for listening to Women of Courage, and have a great